You're listening to the Soju Sessions on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. So, the genesis of this idea was really my 1v1 conversations with Doug, Warren, and Anita, just going a little bit deeper on what K-pop and the entertainment business has meant to them and kind of their personal stories and journeys with the internet and how they got to know each other. So what I wanted to do was a deeper personal discussion on K-pop and entertainment and life and everything in between with people that I've met online and real friends. Coming up, we have Koala. She is the co-host of the Soju Talk Nation podcast, and I wanted to get her on just to talk about her current struggles with academic responsibilities, but also really just to talk about life and friendship and what all that means to her. So, without further ado, here's my chat with Koala. Welcome, everyone, and joining me today on the first episode of Soju Sessions is Koala. How are you, Koala?
I'm tired.
How are you managing with school?
Oh, I'm not managing. I'm barely living through it.
Yeah, it seems like it's been really hard for you with lack of sleep, lack of a normal sleep pattern, and trying to
I
just
don't
get
know
work
what you
done.
mean.
How's PE going for you?
Shut up. I hate you.
What's the
Our
assignment that
topic,
what's the
our
assignment?
topic for this semester is fitness and workouts.
And
It's fitness and workouts,
what
and we need to learn how to juggle.
there it is. Excellent. And what is what's the main way that your instructor or teacher or professor is having you learn juggling?
He said, "Watch this video. I believe in you." And that was the end of the class.
That sounds like an excellent a foundation for instruction. I couldn't have thought of a better way to learn juggling than to watch a video prescribed by my fitness
And
teacher.
then he was like, here's a video how you can make your own juggle balls so you don't need to buy any.
Oh, that's
and
right.
that's it. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't one of the recommendations to use wads of paper?
No rice.
Rice. Okay, that's
yeah.
what it was. I forgot to, but well, I'm sure it's gonna go well. I'm sure you'll get full marks. Is that how that works? Full marks. Yeah.
I'm not expecting anything. I'm crossing my PE mark this year anyway. So.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I hope you film it, and I hope that we all eventually get to see it.
I hope we don't end up the way that I need to film it because we don't have physical class anymore. Please, I don't want to film that. That can't be on any hardware. Please, just.
If it exists in recording,
I won't tell y'all. I just pretend like it never happened.
You have to show us.
No, I'm not doing that.
We'll see. We'll see. So I wanted to get you on the show today just to catch up and talk about life and friendship. I know that you've been busy with school the past couple of weeks, so we haven't had you on the main show. But I just wanted to get you to vent, to just talk about things. And really just checking how are you, because with the pandemic and with everything that's gone on in the past year or so, I know friendship has been a really sensitive experience for a lot of people, and I wanted to ask you how it's changed over the past year with real friends, internet friends, and just being isolated and locked down for so long.
I think the main thing that changes probably internet friends because I didn't have any before. And I also didn't like really try to get any because I was like totally fine with my real life friends and family and shit. But this server and like a couple of others introduced me to new people when I was at home during the pandemic, and I still am. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's surprising for myself too. Just I didn't think I was gonna ever find myself in a world with so many internet friends again. I think for a lot of children of the internet, people who've grown up with the internet, there was a distinct period of time where there was an excitement to meet people on the internet and make friends. I remember I did for a little bit, but it went away just because you had real people in your life to attach to. You had a way to make real connections and see people. And I think with the pandemic, we've all had to adjust and we've all had to adapt to our settings and surroundings. And fortunately, we've found an environment that has been good about bringing people together in a safe space. What is it about the Soju Talk community that has fostered that safety and that, I guess, ability to look forward to wanting to meet people online?
I don't even know what like engaged me to talk more to people and like actually get close to them and not just let it be small talk. It's probably also because we all like K-pop, and that's like one topic I can't really connect with people in my real life. And I don't know, it just happened, I guess. And I've also been a fan of the pod since the very beginning. So I've got to like lurk around at the beginning and get to know everyone else without like actually interacting.
I think it's a really similar experience to a lot of people where innately we want to find that connection and we are fans of K-pop, fans of something that's very niche. And our personalities, like, as far as like you and I are, we not necessarily are timid, but we're cautious, right? We want to make sure we're not stepping on anyone's toes. We want to make sure we are not overshadowing other people in conversations. So I can tell you, like, it was very similar for myself, where I maybe messaged one or two times here and there in a channel or so the first like 4 months of being on the server, and I mainly used it for like news. But as I got more
Look
comfortable,
at you now.
I know, right? As we've gotten more comfortable, we've just been more active and engaged, and I think it's really just finding common interests with people on like small stuff. Do you feel like that's a very similar experience with how you make friends in real life, where it's you'll hit it off with something that's very small, maybe something that you didn't think was a big deal, but all of a sudden that person just feels very strongly about that same thing, and now you two are friends?
I actually don't really know. I think most of my friends are probably just because we know like one person that we like all connect to with each other, and we just got used to each other, and at some point we called each other friends, but there's like no specific topic or feeling or whatever that really made it happen. I just start to feel comfortable around people. I don't really know why. It just happens.
There's a natural flow to like socializing, right? When you're around people for so much, that it just happens that you can connect with them and you vibe with them in a way that you can't really put words to. And I get that. So how do you feel like socializing with your real friends and now socializing with people on the internet has affected your mental health throughout this period of time?
I mean, I basically socialize with my real friends just like I do with the people on the internet, because we don't really get the chance to meet up, and I have strict parents, so it's easier to just chill online rather than actually meeting up. And it's been like a nice way to just relax and forget about the problems that are happening in the present time.
There's some transferable skills there, right? Where because you're already comfortable with your real life friends. You can hop onto a call with them, and there's a routine, there's a ritual of like turning on Discord, turning on all the things that you need to turn on your computer. And it makes it very easy and more comfortable to do that with strangers, essentially. People you've never met in real life or even seen in real life, right? I think that's just super interesting that like the internet has kind of evolved this way over the past year, where yes, there is still a little bit of a scary like idea of meeting strangers online, but because everyone is in a similar mindset and hopefully there's a community with kind of that safety net of we're all here kind of for the same thing, that we exchange pleasantries and that we're nicer to each other and that we're not all creeps. And I feel like this is a very similar situation in real life with idols, as far as like them starting off and them I guess starting their journey of being an idol with a trainee system and then being a young idol. An example I can remember is Ashley Choi was on Dive Studio's podcast last year, and she talked about her friendship with ROSÉ from Blackpink. She it's a 5 minute clip on YouTube. You can find it. She talks about the pressures of being a celebrity, the pressures of being a trainee, debuting, and coming from New York at that time. She didn't have very many friends from Korea, so what she would do is she would go to church, and she just so happened to sit next to ROSÉ, and they would hit it off and they would talk. The pastor would tell everyone to say hello to your neighbor. And at first she even said like they lied to each other about what they did. I think Ashley said she was there to teach English in Korea, and then ROSÉ said she was there to learn guitar. And at this point they were both young. I think Ashley had just debuted and ROSÉ was still a trainee. But it really just opened up to a natural finding of like similarities and friendship. So much so that I think they're really good friends to this day. I think she's even on her vlog channel here and there. So, like hearing a story like this, Koala, how do you feel like idols manage the situation of friendship? I can imagine it being a little bit easier and more natural when you're younger, when you're not as well known. But once your celebrity really pops off, what are the pressures in your mind to making friends and making genuine friends for idols?
I think you're just really cautious about people that could possibly not actually like looking forward to be friends with you, but they have like some kind of second plan in their mind, or once you the two of them, like I don't know, have a dispute and don't like each other anymore, the other person could drop stuff that could end up in a scandal, which is like a big thing in the Korean entertainment, and which can actually ruin your career no matter how bad it is. And I think you, especially if you're like really, really famous, you just need to be very, very aware of what other people can do to you and how they can damage you. So you're probably also just very, you have a smaller, like smaller group of people you probably trust more than just the typical small talk and the face you show on TV or on the internet.
And I think it's really important to I guess like give attention to and focus on, right? Because for us, not that we take it for granted, but it's far easier for us to make a friend, be friendly, have a conversation, say something that might be stupid, taken out of context, but then not ever have to worry about it, right? And then if we're not friends with that person anymore, it's no big deal because there's no large consequences or repercussions to the fact that we're not friends. And then just like you said, being an idol, being someone in the spotlight, you have to be very careful. And I do feel like there is an internal struggle, an internal mental health issue, not an issue, but like a mental health obstacle to overcome that you have to be so alert as to who you're talking to, that finding genuine friendship is a lot more difficult than it would be for anybody else. Um, in your opinion, what's the importance of finding friendship during transitional periods in your life?
I think it's just very important to have someone to talk to in like points of your life where everything is just changing and you need to adjust to it, and just need like that helping hand, even though you yourself may not have any clue how to handle the situation. You have someone else to rely on.
What important transitional periods in your life can you remember in your recent history, considering you're still fairly new to the world, that you feel like it was really nice to have a friend there for?
Sorry that I'm not 90. I can't like talk about the 60s back then. I don't know. Maybe changing schools after the sixth class, something like that. I don't think it's. I haven't been like the big person for friendships when I was like in elementary school. I didn't care a lot about it. So it wasn't that hard for me to switch schools after the sixth grade, and I adjusted to it pretty quickly without like seeming to get lost in this whole chaos of getting to know new people and stuff. I think like the first couple of months were pretty fine for me without actually needing any like big support. It's just the period where I got to know my friends that I still am friends with now. But I don't think I have had that transitional phase yet. Maybe after I do my A levels. Probably after that. Being an adult must be weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird time, right? To just go from something so constant with primary school to in adulthood to university life. So I can imagine there's a lot of change coming up for you. Bringing it back to K-pop and Ashley and Rosé's story, um, being in the public eye, being someone that people talk about so often, what do you think the conversations are between Ashley and Rosé when they have to um, when they have to deal with something that's a pressure to them, something that's a bit more challenging? Because oftentimes idols and the fandom, yes, they allow us into their lives. We have so much access into everything that they go through as far as being an entertainer. Everything from vlogs, especially with TikTok nowadays. Um, but what do you think about like the real conversations about how they would be able to decompress and separate from this world of being an idol and in the public eye?
I honestly can't really imagine it. I would just think that it would be like the most normal way possible, because you just need to turn off that like idle mode, so to speak. Just be normal around people you're also comfortable around to be normal. But I don't know how it is to be like an influencer. Do you know? Huh, Crispy?
Please, you're the influencer. Get out. um, yeah, and I think that's important, right? I think that's a very um, uh, it's something we should be conscious about, because we do have the privilege of having so much access to almost the entire story of how an idol becomes an idol. I mean, there's just so much information about when they started with the company, how long their training period was, who they trained with, things that happened with the company during that time that people kind of draw dots and start connecting them together. And again, not to say that we should feel sorry for idols for any of this, but we should definitely extend a level of empathy to understand that, yes, we have all this news and information about them, but oftentimes it's very much on the surface. Very much, oftentimes it's from a secondary source, a third party source, it's never directly from that person, and if ever it is, it's in front of a camera, so it's contrived. It's almost scripted, right? And I do just want to say that as much as we love K-pop and we love our idols, that it wouldn't hurt to humanize them from time to time, to really just like take a step back and allow space between idols and who they are as people, and then kind of understand that they probably go through very similar things to us, and whatever we find important in our lives, like friendship, like connections we make with people, is probably equally important to them. So kind of closing out our conversation, Koala, what are you most concerned about as far as the pandemic, being isolated and locked down, with regards to friendship and that personal socialization you have meeting people in real life?
I'm just missing out a lot of fun stuff. Like if I have like normal school without the pandemic, there would be so many moments and just events where me and my friends would do the most stupid stuff on this world. And I'm just missing out now. I mean, we can hang out in voice channels, but it's not the same. Like, there's a friend of mine who planned on to like dye his hair pink for like a year now, and he still hasn't done it because there's no reason to if he doesn't go out anyway. So we're just missing out on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do feel like so much of our lives have been put on hold the past year that we've gotten used to, and we've gotten kind of okay with the idea of putting things on hold. At least as far as like speaking for myself, like I know there's like a million things I've put on hold, like traveling, going places, and I feel like it's gotten easier and easier now to make excuses not to see people, even though in the United States things are opening up, people are getting vaccinated, it's getting a little bit safer, even though people should still be cautious, but it's still making me very reluctant to want to see people in real life. And even if I do see people in real life, I'm socially distancing. I'm like 20 feet away from them. So I feel like that, to me, that's also like a concerning thing, right? Where it's like we've gotten so used to life in the past over a year that it's not to say that we were not longing for like that physical attention and touch with another human being, that like as soon as everyone's vaccinated, everyone should just go out and like hug each other. But I do feel like there's going to be a longer period of that separation, even when you are able to see another person, at least as far as my caution level to like seeing other people. And yeah, like it's a concern, but we do want to kind of end things on a positive note. So what are you most hopeful for with regards to friendship and making new friends now that you've gotten all these different skills of talking to people online moving forward into the future?
Dude, I don't have any skills in socializing. Like, I'm the worst to find new people and get close to them. It's so bad. I don't know. What am I looking forward to? Nah, I don't think there is anything. I just want school to end.
I feel like
I'm
you've learned a
so.
lot. Like your ability to like have a conversation with someone and take another point of view definitely is much different than it would be like a year ago, just on the virtue of like the amount of people you've talked to online, the fact that you're a moderator on the Soju Talk K-pop podcast Discord, that people go to you for questions and inquiries if ever they're EU people. So I feel like there is some importance there. Do you feel like you've changed or grown at all, or had a noticeable, or the internet like socialization has a noticeable impact on the way that you've been with other people?
I probably have changed, but I can't pinpoint it out because it also feels like it's only been like a minute since we've been in lockdown, so I can't really tell how much I've changed. Maybe more talkative. I was more shy before, probably.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to zoom out sometimes. But I will agree that you uh, are more talkative, and your English is far better than you give yourself credit for. I feel like
Nah.
you don't stumble on your words as much as Americans on the server do. I will be one of the first people to admit that I probably stumble more than you, and I speak English all the time.
No. Your English is way better, dude.
It's fine. I might be able to put like strings of phrases together longer, but that doesn't necessarily mean like I'm not stumbling through it with like ums and like pauses and everything. So, I mean, all that said, like for a person who doesn't speak English at like nationally, you do a pretty good job being a podcast host.
Eh. Eh.
Yeah. Well, any closing thoughts just on friendship and life in the pandemic?
Can Germany get their shit together? They are considering a countrywide lockdown.
Again? Holy smokes. Yeah, dude, I don't know what to say.
I'm just not getting outside anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully things start to open up for you and like you get to see people in real life. You did get to see friends last week, is that correct?
Yes,
What?
yes, for like a few days, and then then it was mandatory to be like in physical class anymore because the cases were getting more and more.
Yeah.
So,
Well, at least you got a little bit of it. Hopefully, things get back to normal and you get to be around people again. So, looking forward for that for you. For me, I guess what I'm hopeful for is that things open up, we see people again, but also we don't lose kind of the skills that we've gotten online. Because yes, like in our community of like fandom and K-pop, we're very adept and used to Discord and voice chats and video calls. But I also feel like these skills are very useful in the business world as far as setting up meetings, interviews. Yes, it would be nice to one face with someone, but at the same time, there's a convenience to doing things online in a computer. I don't know, it's just speaking from me. Like I would rather, like much prefer being in my room to interview for a job than having to drive
man.
all the way down to San Francisco and look for parking and be stressed the entire time. And yeah, just the whole thing. Not to say that that's the only type of interview. Like if I had to do multiple interviews, that's fine because at least I get the first one out of the way, comfortable in my own little corner. But it would be nice if like some of these things were incorporated still into the future in the next couple of years. And that just also means technology will get better. Things will inevitably get cheaper. I could get like a dope ass video camera to do an interview. So yeah. Yeah, I think we've all found a way to be better connected with people and to be more resourceful with the internet and technology. And honestly, it's been really helpful, and I can't express enough how grateful I am for the Soju Talk community, for Doug, Warren, and Anita, for even our conversations that I've had with the three of them, and just them being open about it. So hopefully that leads to more deeper discussions on life and everything in between. But yeah, that does it for the show. Thank you so much for listening to the Soju sessions on the Soju Talk Nation podcast feed. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, or your preferred podcast platform. Subscribe. Join us on the Soju Talk Nation podcast. The Soju Talk K-pop podcast Discord to continue the conversation. And yeah, for Koala, this is Crispy. Bye.